So you want to be creative for money, huh? Oh Lord. Let's talk. In this video, I will share the good, the bad, and the ugly around a creative career. Let's talk about it. What up, y'all? I'm Rosemary, a brand strategist and creative, helping women and BIPOC entrepreneurs grow their brand, level up, get clarity, shatter glass ceilings, build generational wealth, all of that fun stuff. So this video is all about my experience, but if you are considering a creative career, you might find some inspiration or some warnings. And if you are an entrepreneur, which to me is an inherently creative field because you are literally making a business from scratch, maybe you can relate. So let's start at the beginning with little old Lizzie. I grew up in a very creative family. There's art running through my veins, and my dad is a virtuoso guitarist. He's incredibly talented and so highly regarded in the industry by his peers, and also never really made a whole lot of money at it. So the lesson for me throughout my childhood was always don't try to be creative for money because it won't work out. Even though when I was in kindergarten, I always said I wanted to be an artist, and that's probably something I wanted my whole life. I felt that the right thing to do, whatever that means, was to pursue something more academic. So I was a very good student. I went a very traditional path. I went to college. I was pre-med, and it just was not working for me. When I started at UCLA, I just didn't care enough to try that hard. It was so hard, and I didn't care enough. So I always knew I'd been good at writing, and I decided to apply for a writing internship, and that changed my life. I got this internship, which turned into a job, which turned into a whole decade at a branding agency. And at the time, I didn't know what branding was. I didn't even know marketing or branding or graphic design or design in general was even a thing. I had no idea. So I was very, very lucky to fall into it, and it turned out to be, you know, one of the loves of my life. Very fortunate to find a career where I got paid to do that. But it's not all good. It's not all easy. And especially now that I have my own company, there's a whole other set of trials and tribulations that come with it. So first, let's talk about the good. The most obvious is that people are paying you to do something you like doing. If you have a creative mind, especially if you have a particular discipline like painting or drawing or design or music or whatever it is, this is probably something you would be doing anyway in your free time. You can lose track of time doing it. You genuinely enjoy it. So to get paid for it is really cool. It doesn't always feel like work. Sometimes it feels fun. It feels like a creative puzzle. It can really fuel you up. The second big benefit is that you get to help people. It can be super rewarding. This may not apply for every creative discipline in the same way, but I know for me, I get to serve a client and help their dreams come true. When I read someone their strategy for the first time, for example, like they cry sometimes. They get really emotional. They say, like, I've never heard someone capture like all the stuff that was in my head that I always wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it. It helps them see themselves more clearly. It helps them make their dreams come true in a small way. And that's like really cool. That's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that for someone. And I don't take that lightly, so that's a big deal. But it's not just that. I get to connect with people like you who are watching this. I get to use whatever tools and gifts I've been given to meet other people, to help them, to teach them something. In general, creativity is a tool for connection, for storytelling, for bonding, for making someone feel something. And that's a really cool thing that you can use your mind, your imagination, your talent to make someone feel something. My third super good thing about a creative career is that every day is different. This is definitely the case for a business owner, and for my experience working in a creative field as well, whether that's because there's always some new client, different industry, new challenge, new deliverable, they need a website, they need a brochure, they need a logo, they need a strategy. There are so many skills you can learn and develop. It's so broad, and creativity is rewarded. So it's really hard to get bored in that sense. There's just always a new creative challenge. All right, let's talk about the bad, y'all. The first one is that you have to be creative all the time. You are literally getting paid for this. Your livelihood depends on your creativity. And there's this really cool talk by Liz Gilbert on this. She wrote Big Magic, one of my favorite books. She talks about how you have a creative muse. Sometimes that muse doesn't want to show up for you. You are constantly having on deadline to output, boom, 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 and be creative and have good ideas all the time. And that is a lot of pressure, and it can be really, really draining. Sometimes it feels like you're giving so much of yourself that you don't have anything left for you. That's been something I've been dealing with a lot lately. I haven't posted a few videos in a while. It's been about a month. I had to take a break because I was just so overwhelmed, and having to be creative all the time was really, really wearing me down. It's real. And people don't talk about that a lot. Maybe it's like a privileged problem because oh God, you have to get paid to do something you like all the time. But it's a real thing. All right, the second not so good thing is that you're not the client or the customer. And this isn't necessarily bad, but it's not like you're just drawing for fun or composing music for fun, or even just creating a business to please your own needs. You have an audience, you have a client to please or a customer that you have to serve, and their wants and needs are more important than your own. That can be challenging at times. A lot of times your recommendation doesn't get chosen or adhered to. It usually doesn't go the way that you as an artist would want it to go. And that's okay. Like, that's just part of it, because that's the job. The job is to please a client or the customer. It's not about you. You have to put your ego aside, but it can be challenging, and it's not the same freeing, purely artistic experience as doing it for yourself. And sometimes letting go of your favorite option or what you thought it had to be actually makes it better. Sometimes it doesn't, but either way, you have to be receptive to feedback. You have to be receptive to criticism, because it's not all about you. It's about what other people want and need. All right, the last bad, it can really fuel perfectionism. If you're not a perfectionist, you don't have these tendencies, you're good. Don't even worry about this. But I definitely do. And when you're creating something for a client, it can really feed into that, because design or art or music or whatever it is all subjective. And sometimes it's hard to know what's good enough. Like, if I'm creating a strategy for someone and I have all these different ideas, are they good enough? Are they gonna like them? There's not really a test for that other than just showing it to them. If you're a perfectionist or you have those tendencies, sometimes it can be hard to know when to stop, and you can put a lot of pressure on yourself to make it better, to overwork, to overthink, just so that it is good enough. And that can be a lot of anxiety, a lot of unnecessary worry. And from an entrepreneur standpoint, the same thing with your business. There's always something to do, always, 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 always. And sometimes it feels like it's never enough. Am I doing enough? I remember when I first started, like the first 6 months of my business, I was constantly worried about, am I doing enough? Whatever that means. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's fear and it's worry that whatever you are doing won't be liked or well received or won't put food on the table or whatever it may be. So it can really feed those fears and anxieties if you're not careful. So, I will always be honest with you. Those are my key good and bad sides of having a creative career, being creative for money. And some people will be like, say all of that and then, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I don't feel that way all the time. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm like, this shit is hard. But I do know that if I wasn't doing something creative, if I just had like a very tedious, straightforward job, I would probably lose my goddamn mind. And I'd be wasting whatever little bit of talent I have been given. So let me know what you think in the comments. I want to hear from you. Do you relate to this? Did I share something new? Are you considering a creative career? And if you're trying to get into the design, branding, strategy, copywriting space, send me an email at liz@lizmariestrategy.com, because I'm always looking for new creatives to collaborate with, to bring onto my team, whatever it may be. And I'd love to meet you. All right, until next time, stay badass.
All right, y'all, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down there. And check me out at LizMarieStrategy or LizMarieStrategy.com.